Nestled within the churning sea of swords, obscured by tempestuous weather and treacherous currents, lies the island I have come to call simply the Spire, once known as Skadarak, named after a fearsome dragon of that name who once ruled over it. That dragon was also known as the Red Terror of Mintarn. This island now serves as my sanctuary and centre of study. Skadarak is the northernmost of a pair of islands northwest of Mintarn, and is within a red dragon's flying distance of not only Mintarn but the Moonshae Isles. It's a coveted spot for the red dragons of Faerun, so no doubt the breed is keeping a fairly interested eye on the place, though they would be unwise to tussle with its current owner. Upon my arrival, I found the dragon in the throes of a dark ritual, seeking to transcend death and become a more powerful form of undead. My presence disrupted this ritual, resulting in Hundara's resurrection as a zombie dragon, his elemental essence splintering into multiple Fume Drakes bound to the volcanic heart of the island. High Hand Spire, my 5-spired library tower, stands sentinel over this land of strange energies and ancient relics. From here I have established control over the Fume Drakes, warding them and studying their peculiar manifestations. Hundara's skeletal remains, along with a vast collection of dragon bones and giant skulls, remain undisturbed. The island's ecosystem continues to be a source of endless fascination. Deep Spawn, those bizarre creatures capable of generating life, populate the island, producing livestock and replicas of long-dead dwarven warriors. These beings, interacting in an intricate web of life and undeath, provide a unique opportunity for study, revealing secrets about the Deep Spawn's behaviour and ecology that I've not encountered in my centuries of research, and the Fume Drakes are perhaps the most intriguing aspect of my time on the island. Born from the failed ritual that sought to elevate Hundar, these drakes are elemental spirits created by the lingering magic of a dead dragon. Their form is fluid and ever-changing, appearing as greenish clouds of smoke that take the shape of tiny legless dragons. They are bound to the volcanic activity of the island, drawing power from its fiery core and the ever-present mists that shroud it. These mischievous creatures are initially indifferent to other beings but are highly territorial and will attack if their haunts are disturbed. They also will generally ignore or only moderately pester other creatures unless the many ancient bones and skulls on the island are disturbed deliberately, in which case they get very feisty indeed and may even band together to animate the remains of Hundar. But more on that in a moment. They delight in sowing confusion and inflicting pain, often attacking by exhaling scalding steam or biting with their fire-hot jaws. Controlling the Fume Drakes proved to be a relatively straightforward endeavour. Utilising wards and binding spells, I was able to establish dominance over them, ensuring they remain within the bounds of the island and do not pose a threat to my studies or to any unwary travellers. Despite their spectral nature, they possess a surprising degree of intelligence and a limited capacity for independent action. This intelligence is most evident in their ability to temporarily animate the dormant form of Hundar, though this effort exhausts them greatly. In studying the Fume Drakes, I've observed a peculiar hierarchy among them. They seem to operate in loose packs, with one Drake assuming a leadership role within each group. This leader is often slightly larger and more brightly burning than its counterparts, suggesting a greater concentration of elemental energy. These leaders coordinate the activities of their pack, whether in the defense of their territory or in the rare instances when they seek to animate the zombie dragon. The Fume Drakes themselves are remarkable creatures. Each drake stands about 6 to 8 feet in length, their bodies composed of swirling smoke and flickering flames. Their wings are thin, membranous structures that shimmer with heat, allowing them to glide effortlessly through the air. They possess a resilience to physical attacks, as their ethereal form can phase through most mundane weaponry. However, enchanted weapons and spells can disrupt their form, forcing them to dissipate and reform after a period of recovery. Their breath weapon is a potent mix of searing heat and choking smoke, capable of inflicting both fire and poison damage. When a Fume Drake exhales its breath, the air around it shimmers with intense heat, and a cloud of toxic fumes billows forth. This attack can incapacitate foes, rendering them blind and choking for several moments, while the heat sears their flesh. The Fume Drakes use this breath weapon both defensively and offensively, driving away intruders or subduing prey. You can find the stats for the Fume Drakes in the 5th edition adventure Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, Chapter 1, in the Hot Springs encounter. Equally captivating are the deep spawn that inhabit the island. These aberrant creatures are capable of producing a wide variety of life forms, from simple livestock to complex replicas of ancient warriors. The Deepspawn here have established a unique ecosystem, interacting with each other in ways I've not seen before. They exhibit a form of social behavior, forming loose colonies that share resources and defend their territory collectively. The livestock produced by the Deepspawn includes sheep, goats, and even cattle, which roam the island in small herds. These creatures appear normal at first glance, but possess subtle differences that mark them as products of the Deepspawn's arcane biology. Their meat is slightly sweeter, their wool finer, and their hides tougher than those of natural animals. These traits make them highly valuable, and I have taken care to study their breeding and life cycle extensively. The most fascinating creations of the Deepspawn, however, are the replicas of ancient dwarven warriors. These replicas are nearly indistinguishable from the originals, possessing not only the physical form but also some of the memories and skills of the dwarves they imitate. This raises intriguing questions about the nature of memory and identity, as these replicas often recall battles and events from centuries past with startling clarity. Some of these dwarven replicants now live at the Spire, aiding in my research and providing invaluable insights into their ancient culture. Others, however, seem compelled to battle each other over long-forgotten feuds, a behaviour rooted in their origins from the Spawn Wars fought in the Empire of Xanatar. The Deepspawn themselves are formidable creatures, each resembling a massive tentacled horror with multiple eyes and gaping maws. They possess an intelligence that borders on malevolent, often devising intricate traps and ambushes for unwary intruders. Despite their fearsome appearance, they are not inherently hostile unless provoked or threatened. I have managed to establish a tenuous understanding with the Deepspawn, allowing me to observe their behaviour without undue risk. Deepspawn are monstrous aberrations, mottled grey and brown, and look like rubbery spheres 14 feet in diameter. 6 arms, each up to 20 feet long, project from their bodies. 3 are tentacle arms able to wield weapons, and 3 are jaw arms ending in mouths filled with many teeth. They also possess over 40 long, retractable eye stalks, though they typically extend only 3 or 4 at a time to avoid harm. A Deepspawn can birth a copy of any creature native to the material plane. To do so, it must first devour the creature, making an exact record of it. The Deepspawn can then replicate the creature using ingredients from its surroundings. If it can claim resources from the dead and dying on a battlefield, it can produce a new spawn every 3 days. Otherwise, it gathers materials from the wild, producing offspring at a much slower rate. These spawn are exact duplicates, retaining learned abilities and dim memories of the original creatures, and have an intense, inborn loyalty to their Deepspawn parent. Deepspawn possess genius intellects paired with inscrutable worldviews, making them quite dangerous. They lair in caves and ruins, often well defended by deadly traps and patrolling spawn. They create spawn to serve and protect them. In combat, Deepspawn prefer to fight on their own terms, burying themselves for protection and awaiting enemies in easily defended but also easily escapable locations. They use all 6 of their tentacle and jaw arms to strike at foes simultaneously and can constrict enemies with their tentacles. They also possess innate spellcasting abilities, including Hold Monster, Detect Thoughts, Water Breathing, and Heal. Historically, Deepspawn have fended off attacks from dwarves, Durgar, drow, and other monstrous beings like aboleths, cloakers, and illithids. The first to encounter Deepspawn were the dwarves of the Deep Kingdom beneath the Eastern Shah, who swiftly began a long campaign to exterminate or make use of the strange monsters. Circa minus 9,000 DR, the dwarves of Xanatar engaged in a great civil war, the Spawn Wars, extensively using soldiers created via Deepspawn. The ancient dwarven replicants, compelled to battle each other over long-forgotten feuds, are a direct result of these Spawn Wars. From my conversations with them, it is evident they are from the original conflicts fought in the Empire of Xanatar. Some now live at the Spire, aiding in my research and providing invaluable insights into their ancient culture, while others continue their relentless battles, driven by the memories implanted in them by their Deepspawn creators. Among the most perilous aspects of my stay on the island is the ancient hoard of Hundar. This treasure trove contains an incredible wealth of magic items and artifacts accumulated over centuries by the Red Dragon. Each item possesses the potential to cause significant disruption to the natural world of Toril if mishandled. As an immortal, I'm uniquely equipped to safely deactivate, drain, or destroy these powerful objects. Often I choose to transmute them into other forms. safely releasing their stored energy back into the weave. This process occasionally results in wild magic surges on the island, creating unpredictable and often spectacular effects. The Horde is filled with weapons of immense power, enchanted armor, and arcane relics of unimaginable potency. Each item is a challenge, a puzzle to be unraveled and understood before it can be rendered safe. The energy released during the transmutation process often manifests in wild magic effects that ripple across the island, temporarily altering the landscape or summoning strange phenomena. Among the most notable items in Hundar's Horde is the Helm of Brilliance. This artifact is a dazzling helm encrusted with gems that can unleash powerful magical effects. Each gem holds spells such as Prismatic Spray, Fireball, and Wall of Fire. However, the helm is dangerous. If struck by a powerful blow or if all its gems are discharged, it can explode, causing significant damage to the wearer and surroundings. Another remarkable item is the Ring of Shooting Stars. This ring grants the wearer the ability to control and summon meteors, create protective barriers, and emit bursts of blinding light. It's incredibly versatile, allowing the caster to use spells like Ball Lightning and Fairy Fire. The ring's power to control celestial phenomena is vast, but its potential misuse can lead to disastrous events. The Staff of the Magi is a legendary staff known for its ability to store and amplify the wielder's magical power. It can cast a wide array of spells, absorb spell energy directed at the wielder, and even cause a devastating retributive strike if broken. The staff's immense power is matched by its risk, as it can backfire on the user if not handled with care. The Gauntlets of Ogre Power are enchanted gauntlets that grant the wearer immense strength, making them capable of extraordinary feats of physical power. While not as dangerous as some of the other items, their misuse can still lead to unintended consequences, especially if they fall into the wrong hands. The Necklace of Adaptation allows the wearer to survive in any environment, protecting them from harmful gases, underwater breathing challenges, and extreme temperatures. Its protection is invaluable, but its potential to be exploited for nefarious purposes is significant. The Sword of Cass, a legendary blade once wielded by the infamous lieutenant of the Lich Vecna, is imbued with powerful enchantments and a thirst for blood. It grants its wielder enhanced combat abilities and the power to dominate others, but it also harbors a malevolent will that can corrupt its user, and I am now certain the artifact has the capacity to travel across the multiverse of its own accord. From time to time it goes missing for quite a while, eventually returning, but one day perhaps it won't, and I have yet to find the way to destroy the thing. Speaking of planar travel, the Amulet of the Planes is a potent amulet that allows the wearer to traverse the planes of existence, opening portals to other dimensions and realms. While its utility is unmatched for exploration and escape, its misuse can lead to catastrophic planar breaches or summon dangerous entities. The Cloak of Displacement creates an illusion that makes the wearer appear to be in a slightly different location, confounding attackers and granting significant defensive advantages. However, prolonged use can disorient the wearer or attract unwanted attention from entities sensitive to illusions. The Book of Exalted Deeds is a holy tome of immense power, filled with sacred wisdom and blessings. It can bestow divine abilities upon the reader, but its knowledge is potent and can attract the attention of both benevolent and malevolent forces. Each of these items, while immensely powerful, poses a significant risk. The challenge lies not just in their use, but in ensuring they do not fall into the wrong hands. The process of safely neutralizing or repurposing these artifacts is delicate and requires a deep understanding of their properties. The wild magic effects that occasionally result from releasing the stored energy back into the weave have transformed the island into a place of unpredictable wonder and danger. Over the years, the island has also become a sanctuary for a diverse array of rare and exotic creatures. These beings, collected from my travels across the plains, now inhabit the many false lairs and extensive underground chambers created by Hundar's excavations. The natural lava tubes and chambers of the volcano provide a perfect environment for these creatures, allowing them to thrive under my careful watch. Among the inhabitants are majestic phoenixes, their fiery plumage lighting up the dark caverns, elusive shadow drakes whose forms blend seamlessly with the shadows, and even a few displaced fey creatures who have found refuge in the enchanted groves. Each creature adds to the island's rich tapestry of life, creating a living menagerie that I tend to with great care. I'm assisted by others, though. There is a clan of related reef giants who have assisted me quite often, They seem completely unconcerned about the many bones of giants on the island. None seem to be related to them and are many centuries old, so they don't know or much care who they were or where they came from. There are a few Fae who are allowed into the spire very occasionally on their best behaviour, but they come and go from the island just as they come and go from anywhere else, as the whim occurs to them to do so, I presume. The phoenixes, with their vibrant blazing feathers, serve not only as a symbol of rebirth, but also as a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. These creatures, though temperamental, have formed a bond of trust with me, allowing me to study their unique regenerative abilities. The Shadow Drakes, on the other hand, are masters of stealth and deception. Their ability to blend into the darkness makes them exceptional hunters, and I've observed them utilizing their surroundings with unmatched prowess. The Fey creatures, those who tend to stay much longer, are those that fled the encroaching dangers of their homeland, now find solace in the serene grove of Skadarak, in a deep cleft in the eastern side of the mountain. Their presence has brought a touch of stability to the wild magic of the island, and their stories of the Feywild provide endless intrigue. But I find their frequent parties and invitations to lavish balls and the like to be a bit tiresome. With the Fae, though, it pays to always be polite. The island of Skadarak, with its volcanic heart and peculiar inhabitants, serves as a living laboratory for my studies. The interplay between the Fume Drakes and the Deep Spawn, along with the remnants of Hundar's dominion, offers unparalleled opportunities for research and discovery. Each day brings new insights into the nature of life, death, and the arcane forces that bind them. Highhand Spire, my sanctuary and seat of knowledge, stands as a beacon of understanding amidst the chaos of the island. From here, I continue my studies, delving deeper into the mysteries of Skadarak and the enigmatic creatures that call it home. The path of knowledge is fraught with danger, but it's a path I am compelled to follow, ever seeking the truths that lie hidden in the shadows. Patrons of my channel can find the stats for the Fume Drakes included with this video and the full script. My name is AJ Pickett, and as always, I'll be back with more for you very soon.